What's up, everybody? My name is Bryce, aka DubsNotSubs, and in today's video, we are going to be going over Beyond the Clouds, The Girl Who Fell from the Sky by Nicke, and we're just going to go over a little bit of a review. Nice comeback since I've been gone for a little bit. School's been a little crazy. I've had a lot. It's kind of getting a little busy for me. This is my first time I think I've ever skipped a full week with not uploading anything, so please give me a little bit of grace for that. I do intend to keep making videos. It just might be a little hard during the school year because obviously that has to take priority. But anyway, let's get into this review and see if it's worth your time. So the story follows a boy named Theo who really loves reading. He gets sucked into him when something bad happens in his life, and we find out that he just enjoys it, and he ends up reading so much as he grows up at night that his eyesight ends up going bad, and he ends up having to wear those glasses, which is on the cover. And as he grows up, he ends up becoming a mechanic and reading less and less, but he always had this dream of going on adventures, seeing these fantastical lands and all the stuff that he saw in the books he would eventually be able to see. And as you see him grow up finally when he is around 16, he becomes a mechanic, as I said, and one day he travels to this place called the Island of Dreams, which is basically just a trash heap, and everyone else calls him that, but he still holds on to that childish hope that one day he'll find an adventure. And one day when he heads down to the trash heap, a girl falls from the sky with a broken wing, and she ends up being an angel, which is a very rare creature, almost said to be impossible, and something he's only saw in his books. And this sets up the rest of his story where he gets to live out his book fantasy that he's always wanted to have. So the girl who falls from the sky ends up being called Mia, and he ends up finding out that one of her wings are broken on her back, and you can tell in the cover that mechanical wing right there goes on a kind of just quest to fix her wing. And I don't think they have got it completely fixed yet, but they're going through all that. Oh, what are you doing? That's my dog. I don't even know if you guys can see it. Nami, what are you doing? It's my dog, Nami. I bet you guys don't know where that's from. As I was saying, this sets up the rest of the entire volume. You are really not going to make this easy for me, are you? Can you... stop! Can you please just let me do this? God, she is all over the place. She's a nightmare to deal with. But anyway, we end up doing that, and he becomes kind of this big brother for her as we go on this quest for basically her to go and find out her family and find her family. I'm trying to do this. Can you please let me do this? She goes on a quest, or he goes on a quest to try to find her family, and it basically leads to an entire adventure because they live in this town called Yellowtown, which is where he's only lived. Theo's only lived there, and he's always wanted to go out and experience all of this stuff in the world. So he's never really left, and I think he hasn't left it in this volume, but I do believe they're going to be traveling all across the land, discovering all these cool places. And I love adventures, and it does a great job. The art itself is kind of a mix of Made in the Abyss and Witch Hat Atelier. I don't think it's as good as Witch Hat Atelier. It does have a more sketchy vibe, which is why I say Made in the Abyss, but it's still really good, actually. I think it really fits the story. This is a shonen, but in the sense that it does feel like it's even for younger than people for 13. I know it's for little younger kids, but it feels like more of an actual kid's book, because Nicke, who actually has an interview in the back of this, which is what I think more books should have, actually. I really do enjoy that there is an interview with the creator here, so you actually get to learn more about her. But anyway, she says that a child's artist is one of her inspirations for it, and you can tell that in here because there is a very whimsical kids kind of look to it. There's also she's also inspired by Kingdom Hearts. A lot of things. You can tell a lot of things fantasy inspired or based in here. And the world itself is very steampunk / basic fantasy. The buildings themselves, some of the stuff they wear, especially him, he kind of has that steampunk whole look to him. But it does have basic fantasy creatures, there are cat people, elves, all this other stuff, fairies, and angels and all this. But the art itself, the actual color pages in here, it's a lot like the cover where it's watercolor, and watercolor is my favorite kind of art, so I really appreciate that anytime I see it. That's one of the reasons why I love Norigami so much. It's watercolor, and man, I can't get enough of that good watercolor. It's it's awesome. But her art, like I said, her art itself with that mix is very well done. It fits the story very nicely. All the characters do seem very unique, but the biggest problem I do have with this series is that the characters, besides Mia and Theo, don't really have any development at all. There's a kid named Hancho, I believe is his name. He gets a tiny bit of development, but other than that, all the other characters are very one-sided, and the villain himself is only there to show how valuable Mia is, and he doesn't even get a name in it. But but I do get it because they're just trying to set up the base of like how valuable she is, and she's just showing it. But hopefully as they go on, if they're going to introduce more of antagonists, they're actually going to be good in the sense of like you care about them and actually have a name. But overall, I do really like this series. It's a very nice, easygoing series. I can see some drama aspects going in, but the drama aspects again are like very kiddish. Little spoiler right here, I'll give you a second. So towards the end of this volume, there is she ends up getting sick from something. I'm not going to say what happens, but she ends up getting sick and he has to go find her, and that's kind of like it's like how rare she is one of the things that cause people to want her, and then the other dilemma that happens in this is that she gets sick. It seems like very kiddish, like I was saying, but for like a shonen series, it doesn't really feel like a shonen series. It does feel very like whimsical and different in that way, but I'm thinking of Shonen Action series, and this is an adventure series. But overall, I do really like this. It does have a very Witch Hat Atelier vibe. It's very magical, and I really like it. Rand the Grey World, all this other stuff. I do think, even though those are, I think, is Witch Hat Atelier a seinen? Well, I know Rand the Grey World is, but I don't know if Witch Hat Atelier is. I think it's a shonen though. But Witch Hat Atelier has better art. Sorry. It's been a while since I recorded. I feel a little rusty. I'm not gonna lie. And man, why does it feel so weird right now? Something feels different. What could it be? Oh, wrong hand. That's why. I know. I was like, what's going on there? But anyway, yeah, I do really recommend this. I do think it's a 7.5. I'm excited to see more of this. This is like one of those series that really hooked me in at the beginning. I really like the adventures that are going on. They're like the main characters themselves shine. They are the bread and butter of this series. So if you don't like the main characters, you're not gonna like this series. The world itself is really cool. Yellow Town, which is just like your basic fog, like industrial kind of city, because he's a mechanic himself. It's very industrialized in that kind of sense, but I'm excited to see what other worlds they end up going to. There's a lot to love about the series and a lot to look forward to. I really did enjoy this. It was a strong start. This is Nicke's first series, and I'm excited to see more of this series. She does a great job, and I just can't wait to see more of this series. Like I said, a 7.5. Excited to see where this is going to go. Check out Beyond the Clouds if you do enjoy your adventure series. And as always, I'll see you in another video.